Brienne of Tarth represents one of the most powerful examples of loyalty in Game of Thrones, and this loyalty is deeply rooted in her identity and moral structure. From a psychological perspective, Brienne does not simply practice loyalty as a social obligation or strategic behavior. Instead, loyalty forms the core of who she is. Raised as the only surviving child of a noble house, and often ridiculed for not fitting the traditional expectations of femininity in Westerosi society, Brienne built her sense of self around ideals such as honor, duty, and integrity. These values gave her stability in a world that constantly tried to invalidate her. Her loyalty therefore functions as a psychological anchor that protects her sense of purpose and self-worth. Throughout the series, Brienne demonstrates that loyalty for her is not dependent on reward, recognition, or social approval. Unlike many knights in Westeros who swear oaths for political gain or prestige, Brienne internalizes the meaning of a vow as a sacred commitment. Psychologically, this reflects what moral philosophers and psychologists call an internalized ethical framework. When Brienne swears to serve Renly Baratheon, her devotion is genuine and personal rather than strategic. His death does not destroy her commitment to honor. Instead, it strengthens her determination to live according to the knightly ideals she believes in. Another important psychological aspect of Brienne's loyalty is how it compensates for years of rejection and isolation. Because she was mocked for her appearance and her desire to become a knight, Brienne learned early that belonging in traditional social groups would be difficult. Loyalty gave her a way to create meaningful bonds with others based on shared values rather than social acceptance. When she pledges herself to protect the Stark daughters, her promise becomes a mission that gives direction to her life. In psychological terms, loyalty becomes a mechanism through which she constructs purpose and belonging. Brienne's dedication to promises also reveals her deep respect for moral consistency. In a society where words are often manipulated and broken, Brienne treats language as a binding moral contract. When she vows to Catelyn Stark that she will protect her daughters, she does not treat the promise as symbolic or temporary. Instead, it becomes a lifelong duty that shapes her actions and choices. This psychological commitment to consistency demonstrates a strong alignment between belief and behavior, something that is rare among characters in the political landscape of Westeros. Her loyalty is also reinforced by her admiration for the ideal of knighthood. Although she was never initially accepted by the traditional knightly order, she deeply believes in the values that knighthood is supposed to represent: protection of the weak, courage, justice, and honor. Psychologically, Brienne clings to these ideals as aspirational standards. They function almost like guiding principles that shape her decision-making. In a way, her loyalty is not just directed toward individuals, but toward the ethical system she believes a true knight should embody. Brienne's loyalty is further revealed in her relationship with Jaime Lannister. At first, their relationship is built on distrust and hostility, but over time it transforms into mutual respect. Brienne's ability to remain loyal to her moral principles allows her to recognize change in others. She sees the humanity within Jaime long before many other characters do. Psychologically, this reflects a moral perception rooted in values rather than prejudice or reputation. Her loyalty to honor enables her to judge people based on their actions rather than their past. Another psychological layer of Brienne's loyalty is her resilience. Remaining loyal in Westeros is dangerous because betrayal is common and moral integrity is often punished. Yet Brienne persists in her principles, even when doing so isolates her or places her in life-threatening situations. This persistence demonstrates a form of psychological strength known as value-driven resilience. Her motivation comes not from success or approval, but from remaining faithful to what she believes is right. Brienne's identity as a protector also reinforces her loyalty. She consistently positions herself as a guardian of vulnerable individuals, especially women who are trapped within the brutal political structures of Westeros. Protecting Sansa and Arya Stark becomes a symbolic mission that reinforces her sense of duty. Psychologically, this protective instinct reflects empathy combined with a strong sense of justice. Her loyalty is therefore not passive obedience, but an active commitment to safeguarding others. The emotional sincerity behind Brienne's loyalty also distinguishes her from other characters. Many individuals in Game of Thrones claim loyalty, but often act out of fear, ambition, or manipulation. Brienne, however, demonstrates authenticity. Her actions consistently align with her stated beliefs. This psychological authenticity builds trust with the audience and with other characters, making her one of the few figures in the story who embodies genuine moral integrity. Ultimately, Brienne of Tarth illustrates how loyalty can become a defining psychological structure within a person's identity. For her, loyalty is not simply a behavior but a philosophy of life. It shapes her relationships, decisions, and worldview. In a narrative filled with betrayal and shifting alliances, Brienne's unwavering dedication to her vows highlights the power of internal moral conviction and the psychological strength required to maintain honor in a deeply cynical world. In the brutal political landscape of Westeros, loyalty is often fragile and conditional. Alliances change quickly, and betrayal is frequently used as a tool for survival or advancement. Within this environment, Brienne of Tarth's unwavering loyalty becomes a form of psychological resistance. She refuses to adopt the cynical mindset that dominates the world around her. Instead, she continues to believe that honor and promises still matter. This resistance is not naive but deliberate, reflecting her determination to live according to a moral code even when that code appears outdated. Brienne's loyalty can be interpreted psychologically as a response to moral chaos. In a world where rules are constantly broken and trust is easily destroyed, individuals often become emotionally guarded or opportunistic. Brienne chooses the opposite path. By maintaining her principles, she creates a stable internal structure that protects her from the moral confusion surrounding her. Her loyalty therefore functions as a psychological defense against the corruption that defines much of Westerosi politics. Her journey throughout the series demonstrates how difficult it is to maintain loyalty in such an environment. Brienne faces repeated obstacles, including betrayal, violence, and humiliation. Yet these experiences do not weaken her commitment to her vows. Instead, they reinforce her determination. Psychologically, this reflects a phenomenon known as moral perseverance. When individuals strongly believe in a value, challenges can strengthen rather than weaken their dedication to that value. Brienne's loyalty also contrasts sharply with the strategic thinking of other characters. Many leaders in Game of Thrones treat loyalty as a temporary tool used to secure power. Alliances are formed and broken depending on political advantage. Brienne rejects this approach entirely. For her, loyalty is permanent and unconditional once a vow has been made. This difference highlights the psychological divide between instrumental loyalty and principled loyalty. Another dimension of Brienne's resistance lies in her courage to remain emotionally open in a world that rewards cruelty. Many characters protect themselves by becoming cynical or manipulative. Brienne refuses to abandon empathy and compassion. Her willingness to trust others, even after experiencing betrayal, reveals remarkable emotional resilience. Psychologically, maintaining empathy in hostile environments requires strong emotional stability and self-awareness. Brienne's relationship with Jaime Lannister once again illustrates this idea. Despite knowing Jaime's infamous reputation as the Kingslayer, she gradually allows herself to see beyond the label. Her loyalty to truth and honor encourages her to judge people individually rather than according to popular opinion. This psychological openness allows for genuine transformation in their relationship and becomes one of the most meaningful character developments in the series. The symbolic importance of Brienne's loyalty becomes even clearer when she is finally knighted. This moment represents recognition not only of her combat skill, but also of her unwavering commitment to knightly ideals. Psychologically, the scene validates her lifelong struggle to remain faithful to principles that many others had abandoned. It shows that loyalty and honor can still be acknowledged even in a morally compromised world. Brienne also represents the idea that loyalty can inspire others. Her dedication to promises often motivates those around her to reconsider their own moral choices. Characters like Jaime begin to question their previous actions after witnessing her integrity. In psychology, this reflects the concept of moral modeling. Individuals who consistently demonstrate ethical behavior can influence the attitudes and actions of others. Her presence in the narrative also serves as a reminder that moral integrity does not require perfection. Brienne experiences doubt, fear, and emotional vulnerability, but these feelings do not undermine her loyalty. Instead, they humanize it. Psychologically, this demonstrates that strong values do not eliminate emotional struggle. Rather, they provide guidance through it. In the end, Brienne of Tarth stands as a rare symbol of steadfast loyalty in Game of Thrones. While the world around her is defined by ambition and betrayal, she remains committed to her promises and principles. Her character shows that loyalty can function as both a personal identity and a form of resistance against moral corruption. Through her actions, the series explores the profound psychological strength required to remain honorable in a world where honor is constantly tested.